Arin was originally a simple girl, but now her eyes are filled with despair. 4 years ago, she met the man who brought her immense pain, Damien, at a banquet. At that time, she fell hopelessly in love with him, going a long way every day just to see him. However, Damien always remained aloof, treating Arin with impatience in an effort to win his favor. Arin even voluntarily cured his stubborn illness. Arin's family is protected by the royal family because they possess inherent healing abilities. After Damien learned about Arin's abilities, he proposed to her, knowing that he was only engaged. For the sake of using her abilities, Arin naively believed that if she treated him well, Damien would eventually love her back. However, he not only kept making excuses to delay the wedding, but also allowed her to get close. Only when he was injured, eventually, he brought another woman and asked Arin for help in healing. Seeing their intimate moments, Arin's heart gradually turned cold. All the years of effort seemed to be in vain. To escape this torment, Arin said to Damien, "Let's break off the engagement. I won't hinder you. I wish you a happy life." Unexpectedly, a sword suddenly pierced through Arin's body. Damien had a fierce expression and muttered, "I thought you were a docile and obedient woman. I can't let your abilities fall into someone else's hands." In her hazy consciousness, Arin regretted deeply. How could she be so foolish to fall in love with such a bastard? If she could go back in time, she wouldn't do such a stupid thing again, just as he torn her heart and heart apart. So she willed to do the same to him. Perhaps the god pitied Arin's plight. She went back 4 years ago, before meeting that Damien, and she saw her father, who had died on the battlefield 2 years ago, right in front of her. Unable to contain her emotions, she embraced him. This couldn't be a dream, could it? Her father gently hugged Arin, saying, "It seems like my precious daughter had a nightmare. I've had the kitchen prepare your favorite dishes. Get ready to dine in downstairs." After her father left, Arin swore that since she had returned to 4 years ago, she couldn't miss this opportunity. Fortunately, the current Damien was suffering from a stubborn illness, and even the most renowned doctors were helpless. The only person who could cure him was herself. Though it seemed he was unaware of that fact, Arin thought if she'd take advantage of this, would it be possible for him to destroy himself? After all, if she approached him without any preparation, then on the contrary, she will be the one to lose. She have to seduce someone with the power to protect her family and replace her father to the battlefield. At this moment, she thought of someone, Cassidan, the man who came from a slave background but caught the attention of the crown prince, eventually becoming the captain of the royal knights. In her past life, there are countless words to describe him. God of war, close aide to the crown prince, and a genius of swordsmanship that is unlikely to appear in 1,000 years. Currently, Cassidan is working as a slave fighter. The fact that the crown prince discovered Cassidan and brought him back to the palace will be the story of a year from now. Arin have to go to him before the crown prince, raise him good, feed him well, and taming him excellent. Let him be the sword that protects her and father. In a few moments, Arin asked her father to have a younger brother. At Seville Empire, if war breaks out, one family had to send a male to the battlefield, and if anyone dared to violate national laws, his title will be stripped and property confiscated, even be sentenced to death. With Cassidan being forced into a desperate situation, as a slave fighter, if she could rescue him, he would become a member of their family. In return, he will be the one to replace father in the battlefield. Even if Damien wanted to harm her, Cassidan could stand up for her. Luckily, her father didn't oppose Arin's request. Instead, he supported whatever she chose. The next day, Arin, dressed meticulously, arrived at the arena. She found the best spot and looked around for Cassidan's figure. Seeing Cassidan's delicate appearance, he looked nothing like a slave fighter. The game is about to begin shortly, and the rules of the game is the slave who gets the weapon first will be that slave's. And there's only way to win the game. Just kill all opponents and survive until the end. Arin couldn't help but feel worried. Turns out they don't see slaves as human. Slavery is just a pastime. If they become useless, they will be thrown away. The game began, and the other slaves rushed forward to grab their weapons. Only Cassidan stood still with an expressionless face. The slave who got the weapon first started the slaughter. For a while, the field was a mess. She was stunned by the sight. Even if the slaves were treated as badly as cattle, going directly to the arena to witness something like this. At that moment, there was a slave who raised his weapon and tried to attack Then Cassidan dodged his attack with a sidestep, quickly grabbed his wrist, and then a sword slashed across the slave's neck and blood rushed out. He then immediately attacked another slave, and one by one, all other slaves fell to the ground. He was now the only one left on the battlefield. The host then announced that Cassidan was the final winner. so the highest bidder would get the chance to spend the hot night with him. Arn covered her mouth in disbelief at what she had just heard. The audience started bidding up the price, and everyone wanted him badly. Arn raised her hand and says 500 million, but not a night. That is the price of buying all his life. Is 500 million enough? Oz was stunned by the high price and immediately agreed. At the same day of evening, Cassidy was delivered to Arn's place. Cassidy entered the house and immediately unbuttoned his shirt. What are you doing right now? Arn asked suspiciously. Cassidy says, didn't you buy me to do this? Master, I will now immediately serve you. She stops Cassidy's move, explaining that I didn't bring you back so that you could serve me at night, just because I can't pretend not to see it was. As if those eyes of yours were begging for help. Arn wanted to remove the boundary, then truth and words will blend together. So she says, actually, I was going to buy you and let you live free, but if I do that, you'll be dragged to the arena again and become an entertainment item. After saying that, she cast the power of healing on Cassidy, and the wounds on his hands were gone in an instant. Cassidy looked at his hand incredulously. Arn sat near to Kashadan and inquired, why did you become a slave fighter and where is your family? I have no family. They died a long time ago. Alone, I wandered everywhere and eventually drifted to the arena, he says. Arn asked, since you have no family and are 2 years younger than me, how would you feel if you became my younger brother?